All right, everybody, welcome in to the High Noon Stream here. The High Noon Stream with me, Pugs Moran, on the Radio Misfits podcast platform every Monday through Friday from noon till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, some days shorter. Today, I think is going to be a little bit shorter, or it might be a little bit longer. We never know. Should something pop off during the course of this here show, then maybe we'll get extended. But I gotta be honest with you. The whole purpose of this show, the High Noon Show, is to sort of bring you up to speed on all the things that people are talking about. And there's just not a whole lot of topics here today. There's stuff. We'll get through all the things that are trending. We'll go through all the headlines that are making waves from coast to coast. We'll talk about all the hot topics and all that stuff. But not a whole lot. I mean, typically on... is this a summer Friday in July kind of a deal where there's no real news to discuss because everybody's on vacation, so nobody's filing stories and nobody's doing any kind of reporting? It's a good time for what they call a news dump. Let's see, a Friday in July. A news dump is where they take a story that they don't really want to report, or there's nothing really in it for them to report, and they release the story at a time when nobody's going to care. That's a news dump. A Friday in July on about 4:30 in the afternoon as people head into a weekend. Good time for a news dump. So maybe there'll be more things to talk about later in the day. But as of right now, this is like kind of a lame day. This is the first of two streams that we do here on the Radio Misfits podcast. Look, it's a lame day, but that doesn't mean you need to check out. We're still going to give you all the hot takes that you need for all of the hot topics and the trending topics and the headline. We'll give you all of that. Current events, pop culture. But I'm just saying it seems to be a little bit less frantic in the breaking news world today than it is typically. We do this show every Monday through Friday, and then we do a second stream Monday through Thursday evenings at 9 p.m. as well. We call that one Pillow Talk. It's a bit more conversational. It's me and James Parker. You can check that out by going to pugscast.com. That is a link. Pugscast.com will take you directly to the YouTube page where you can catch up on all the archives. You can listen to shows from earlier in the week. You can hear last night's Pillow Talk show. All of that right there. Handy dandy for your convenience, available anytime you want it at pugscast.com. Also, this show runs on your generosity and your tips. So if you feel so inclined, so moved, you want to help us continue doing these efforts of 2 streams per day here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform, you can contribute to the show by dropping a tip into the Venmo, the PayPal, the Cash App, whatever it is, however it is that you feel you want to express your financial support through tips of this show, you go ahead and you do that. All right, let's get into what today is. High noon. It is 7:22, the 22nd day of the month of July, year of our Lord, 2022. It is also, excuse me, coughing. Let me take a drink. I apologize. You know, back in the days when I was on a real radio station, we had a cough button. And we could mute that. And I actually, as it turns out, I now realize I have a cough button here. I could hit that too. Just not used to doing that. All right, it is the 203rd day of the year. There are 162 days left until New Year's Eve, so get those plans in order. It is quickly approaching. Let's go through all the things that happened on this day in history that make today so interesting. In the year 1298, now I only mention this. Typically, we don't go back this far. But I only mention this because last night on Pillow Talk, we had an in-depth conversation about whether or not William Wallace, you know, the Mel Gibson played William Wallace in Braveheart. I don't know how we got into this, but it was a conversation about, did he wear underwear? And I believe that no, William Wallace probably didn't wear underwear because clothing, you know, you'd kill a bear, you'd skin the bear, you'd wear the bear. I mean, it wasn't like you could go to Target and get underwear. So I don't really know how many. Like, I've got like 50 pairs of underwear. There's a drawer just filled with them. And there's underwear in there that has been in my underwear drawer for 20 years now. I don't imagine William Wallace had that luxury. Anyway, we were talking about William Wallace last night. 1298, the Wars of Scottish Independence. On this day, the Battle of Falkirk, King Edward I of England and his longbowmen defeat William Wallace and his Scottish Schlitrons outside the town of Falkirk. It was on this day. Look at that. Last night we're talking about William Wallace. Probably hadn't mentioned Braveheart in a decade. And here we are. We're talking about it last night. And then here we are on the anniversary of a big moment. And I don't know. I got to rewatch Braveheart. I haven't seen Braveheart in years. On this day in 1990, that's right, we're going to skip all the way ahead from 1298, when William Wallace was defeated by King Edward I of England. We're going to skip all the way to 1990. Ain't nothing happened. Actually, a bunch of stuff happened, but nothing like bunch of stuff, but nothing that I wanted to stop down and talk about. 1990, here in America. Well, actually, not here in America, in France. Greg LeMond, an American road racing cyclist, wins his third Tour de France. Tour de France, Tour de Frost. After leading the majority of the race, it was LeMond's second consecutive Tour de France victory. All right, I don't know what the thought it said. It was his third. On this day in 1990, Greg LeMond, an American road racing cyclist, wins his third Tour de France after leading the majority of the race. It was LeMond's second consecutive. Okay, so he won 3. On this day in 1992, near Medellin, Colombia, drug lord Pablo Escobar escapes from his luxury prison, fearing extradition to the United States. If you watch Narcos, this day, what happened on this day back in 1992, depicted in the Netflix series Narcos. So Pablo Escobar basically ran Colombia. He was like making $1 billion a day. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. He was making a lot of money. He had so much money. He had completely polluted any sort of sense of democracy or liberty or whatever it is that they considered that they had down there in Colombia at the time. He ran it. He ran the country, and he made a deal. It was the country couldn't be run anymore with Pablo Escobar just so flagrantly carrying himself above the law. So he brokered a deal that the police and all that, they kind of lay off him a little bit. All he had to do was turn himself in. He had to make it look like he was going to prison so that the people in Colombia wouldn't think that the government was completely feckless when it came to handling crime and gang violence and all this stuff. So they made a deal, and Pablo Escobar built his own prison. He said, okay, I'm going to go to prison, but I'm going to build a new prison gift from me to the people of Colombia. I'm going to build he built like this luxury resort and called it a prison. And he used to have parties in there. They used to it's all depicted in Narcos. On this day, he finally decided, I guess a new administration had come in. There was a new government, and some of the ways Pablo had been treated in his so-called incarceration were about to change. So Pablo went, all right, I'm checking out of this 5-star prison that I built for myself. I'm gone. He was in the wind, and that started the hunt for Pablo. And well, if you watch Narcos, I won't spoil it for you, but or if you just know your history, if you know your narco crime lord history. On this day in 1993, the Great Flood of 1993, levees in Kaskaskia, Illinois rupture, forcing the entire town to evacuate by barges operated by the Army Corps of Engineers. This was a big deal for me because I was living in this area. I was living in the Midwest outside Chicago, and I remember those floods. I remember when the Mississippi River just went, nope, and blew. Kaskaskia is a city in Illinois. Isn't it the Kaskaskia Mounds? I don't think the mounds are actually in Kaskaskia. I think Kaskaskia just took their name from the nearby mounds. The mounds are these are really cool things. Here's a fun fact about Kaskaskia, since on this day the entire town had to be evacuated because of the rising waters of the Mississippi. I was always kind of led to believe that there wasn't a whole lot of cool history in America because America wasn't really that old of a country. You know, when I'm growing up, it's like you hear about England and you hear about, the battles for the crown in 1050. You hear about all of these historic things all over Europe. And then you come to America and it's like, yeah, we were started 200 years ago. It's not too long ago. That's how I kind of saw American history as a kid. And then as I got older, I got into college and I got into the actual real history of America. Do you know there are these mounds probably 150 miles away from where I grew up, spent my entire life, didn't even know they were there. These mounds are ancient, they pyramids or something that were built by like some ancient Indian group that lived along I guess they called it pre-Columbian Mississippian culture or whatever. I don't know. But down right in the middle of Illinois, There are like these ancient mounds that are like as old as the pyramids in Egypt, but somehow they don't get as much credit. Very interesting. And just go look that up. Go look up mounds, Illinois mounds. You'll see them. Very weird. I went there once. Just once. You only need to go once. It's it's pretty nice. So that was on 1993, the Great Flood of 93. The town of Kaskaskia, Illinois is everybody has to evacuate by barges. Barges. On this day in 2003, members of the 101st Airborne of the United States, aided by special forces, attack a compound in Iraq, killing Saddam Hussein's sons Uday and Qusay, along with Mustafa Hussein, Qusay's 14-year-old son and a bodyguard. Yeah, this was the day, I remember this day when they got Saddam's kids. Yeah, boy. I mean, even madmen might have some affection for their kids. A bad day for Saddam, Adam. We're coming for you, Saddam, even if I can't pronounce your name. And we did. We got him. They ended up getting him. Of course they did. History. On this day in 2011, the Norway attacks. Do you remember this? This was a weird one. First, a bomb blast, which targeted government buildings in central Oslo, Norway. It was followed by a massacre at a youth camp on an island. This is that crazy Norway guy. So he set off a bunch of bombs in Oslo. Terror attack. He did a terror attack in Oslo with these bombs. And then when everybody was focused on the terror attack, all the emergency management and the police and the fire and all that's everybody of any stripe, any authority, they're focused on the bombing. This dude just got in a car and in like a boat and he went to this little island that was right off the coast where all these kids were having a summer camp and he went and killed everybody. He just went because all the just unbelievable. I remember that. 2019. What was it, 2019? I have difficulty with this. This comes from India. Indian words, the Indian language seems unnecessarily complicated. Their names, don't they? Like there's just a lot of like redundancy in Indian names. 2019, at least to my Euro Caucasian sensibility. On this day in 2019, Chandrayaan 2. See, here's what I mean about Indian words. Chan, Chandra, Chandra, and then on, Aan. Why are there two A's? Why you need two A's? I would still pronounce it Chandrayaan 2. On this day in 2019, Chandrayaan 2, the second lunar exploration mission developed by the Indian Space Research Organization, after Chandrayaan 1, is launched from Satish Dhawan Space Center. I don't know where that is. In India, I'm guessing. It consists of a lunar orbiter and also included the Vikram lander and the program. Basically, this is a long way to tell you the Indians are jacking around with the moon. They over in India. The Indians have a pretty serious space program. They really do. Like in 2019, they started shooting stuff back. I wonder who all has been to the moon. You would think I would know that. I seem to be only singularly focused on America and what we did on the moon. Like, who else has been to the moon? No other countries put a man on the moon. I think that's still our thing. But other countries have hit the moon with stuff. Anyway, moving on. No, okay, that's it. That's it for the history. No, not even a whole lot of great history here. How about some births? Let's do some births here. People celebrating birthdays that we need to celebrate. Born on this day in 1940, Canadian-American game show host and just beloved icon of American television, Alex Trebek. Alex Trebek was born on this day in 1940. He would have turned 80 years old today, right? No, 80. He would have turned 82 years old today. He died at 80. He died in 2020 at the age of 80. Also born on this day in 1941, George Clinton. George Clinton, American singer, songwriter, and producer. Godfather of funk. George Clinton was born in 1941, so that would make him 81 years old today. Yeah. Okay, so George Clinton is 81 years old today. It seemed to me that back in 1990, when I discovered George Clinton, back in college, when George Clinton kind of had a moment where college kids in that area sort of rediscovered funk. It was sort of simultaneous with hip hop, reintroducing funk, or at least some funk that wasn't necessarily mainstream to a more emerging mainstream hip hop audience, like the 90s. He's 81 years old today. I would have thought he was 81 years old in 1990. I mean, George Clinton just has always seemed super old to me. Happy birthday, George Clinton. Born on this day in 1946. He's getting too old for this. Danny Glover, celebrating a birthday. American actor, director, and producer. Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon movies. Danny Glover's done a whole bunch of stuff in his career, but the Lethal Weapon movies, I think, is pretty much all we talk about. Paul Schrader is celebrating a birthday today. Also born in 1946 with Danny Glover. Umbilical cousins, if you will. Paul Schrader is awesome, man. Paul Schrader, I think Paul Schrader might have some issues, though. I want to say that there's some scandals, but that's okay. You know about me, I can separate the art from the artist. I can look at a broken creative and their output of work and creativity, and I can appreciate that. And just because maybe and I'm not saying this about Paul Schrader, I don't know, but just because maybe they hit their wives or got a bunch of drunk driver, whatever, I can separate that. We gotta separate the art from the artist, man. Seriously, because based on what I know, I could never enjoy another Michael Jackson song if I can't separate the art from the artist. And I like Michael Jackson, and I don't want to give that joy up in my life. So there we go. Paul Schrader, but who is Paul Schrader? So first of all, here's how Paul Schrader came to prominence. Martin Scorsese, probably the greatest film director of his generation, arguably. I mean, there's a number, but Martin Scorsese would be in the conversation with Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola and some of the others. All those great movies early on, especially in Martin Scorsese's career, that he made, that he became so beloved and appreciated for, they were all written by Paul Schrader. Paul Schrader is like the screenwriter who did, let's see here. What did Paul Schrader do today on his birthday? Theater, personal life, I don't know, film. All right. Okay, so his first movie, the first movie that Paul Schrader wrote was 1974's The Yakuza. Have you ever seen The Yakuza? The Yakuza is a cool ass movie. It's a 1974 Japanese gangster film. But get this, here's the deal. Not only this movie, Yakuza, if you know, I've never heard of it. Well, you should see it. This movie was written by two people. Two people got together and wrote this movie early in their careers. Those two people who wrote the Yakuza, Paul Schrader, who we're talking about today, and Robert Towne of Chinatown. Robert Towne. What an incredible movie. All right, so Taxi Driver, he wrote Taxi Driver. He wrote and directed a George C. Scott movie from 1979 called Hardcore. Have you ever seen Hardcore? Oh, that is Oh, hey, you girl dads out there, you might not want to watch Hardcore. Hardcore is the story of a father, George C. Scott, who goes looking for his runaway daughter. His beautiful young college-age daughter has disappeared and she's run away. And George C. Scott is scouring the nation looking for his daughter, who has turned to the porn industry. Oh, jeez. There is a scene in Paul Schrader's Hardcore where George C. Scott goes to one of these 1970s sex theaters to watch a porno movie, because that was, I guess, the only way you could see a porno back then. And it's the dad. It's just Schrader trains his camera on George C. Scott's face. You don't see what's on the screen, but you just see this dad watching his daughter perform in a porno. Oh, it is heavy. Hardcore is such a great movie. He then wrote and directed American Gigolo. He then wrote Raging Bull. He then directed Cat People. What else did he do? Wrote The Last Temptation of Christ. He wrote we could do a Paul Schrader draft, but I won't. He's just awesome. He's one of my favorite screenwriters. And I think I refuse to look more into him. I think he might have done some things. I think he might have gotten caught up in the whole Me Too movement or something. I don't know. I love Raging Bull. Are you kidding me? The man who wrote the dialogue in Taxi Driver. You're looking at me. And the guy who wrote that, and the guy who wrote Last Temptation of Christ, and the guy that wrote Yakuza. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna avoid all of the realities of what a prick he might be in real life and just appreciate his contributions to My entertainment. Born on this day in 1947, one of my all-time favorites, and the reason we didn't do a Paul Schrader draft, because it's Albert Brooks' birthday, and we are doing an Albert Brooks draft. You better believe it, we're doing an Albert Brooks draft. One of my favorite comedians, comedy writers, comedy directors, Albert Brooks to me is kind of like Woody Allen without all the problems. Well, Albert Brooks to me is every bit as talented and every bit as funnier. I think Albert Brooks is actually funnier than Woody Allen, but he's one of these guys. Albert Brooks is another one of these guys who writes, directs, and stars in all of these films. And in the 1970s and 80s, he was considered a rising god of the comedy world. All right, Albert Brooks draft. Here we go. These are all of the projects that Albert Brooks has been involved in, either as a director, a writer, a creator, or just a star of. Here you go. My top 5 Albert Brooks draft. Here we go. In the first round of the Albert Brooks draft, I'll be taking here the team from High Noon. I'm Pugs. Taking with the first overall pick, Modern Romance. Modern Romance goes off the board at number 1. If you've never seen Modern Romance came out 1980, maybe 1981. It's the story of a guy who's going through a breakup, Albert Brooks, and he decides he's going to get back out there. He's going to start dating again. And it's just about all of the nonsense that goes into dating. Now, specifically, this is about dating in the late 1970s, early 80s, but it is so funny. He is so funny. And there is an absolutely brilliant scene in this movie between Albert Brooks and his real life brother, Super Dave Osborne. Dave Osborne, Bob Einstein was his real brother. And they have a scene together in Modern Romance that is just so funny where Bob Einstein, his brother, Super Dave, is like a salesman at like a Foot Locker. And Albert Brooks is going to get in shape. He's got a new dating life. He's going to start jogging. And he goes to the Foot Locker store. And Bob Einstein, Super Dave Osborne, is the guy selling him shoes, and he just keeps upselling them and upselling them and upselling them. It's really funny. Number 2, the Albert Brooks draft, we are going to go with Real Life, which he actually made before Modern Romance. Real Life was, Chris Guest gets all kinds of credit for inventing the mockumentary, where it looks like a documentary, but it's obviously a joke and it's scripted. Real Life, I think, is the first mockumentary. I think Real Life predates anything that Chris Guest did by a couple of years. Real Life was Albert Brooks' response to a PBS miniseries that aired in the early 70s. It was a miniseries about a family, the Loud family, and it was, for all intents and purposes, it was the first reality series. Back in the mid-1970s, PBS camera crews went into a family in Southern California's home, put cameras everywhere in the house, and just followed them. And it was the first time the American public actually had any taste of what would become the reality format. And it was fascinating. It was a major hit. And Albert Brooks, a couple of years later, made a mockumentary based on the Loud family. And it's called Real Life. And it is really, he plays the director, he plays himself, he plays Albert Brooks. It's so funny. Real Life goes off the board, number 2 in the Albert Brooks draft. Number 3, Lost in America, Albert Brooks. He's a big ad whiz in Southern California. He's had it with the rat race. He's going to liquefy all of his assets. He's going to buy a camper, and he and the wife are just going to live on their nest egg and drive across country in their camper. And that's it. They're done with the rat race. Lost in America. God, Lost in America is funny. He goes to Vegas. They go to Vegas and they lose all of their nest egg. Like day 1 of their trip, they've got this nest egg that's supposed to last them the rest of their life, and they blow it in Vegas, all of it on the first night. And again, here's a scene to be looking for. A scene between Albert Brooks and Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall, the television producer, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley. Gary Marshall plays the casino boss. He runs the casino, and Albert Brooks is in the casino boss's office pleading with the casino boss to please give us our money back. We didn't mean to lose all of our money. It's very funny. With the 4th pick in the Albert Brooks birthday draft, we're going with broadcast news. That's right. James Brooks James Brooks, creator of The Simpsons, and what else did James L. Brooks do? James L. Brooks made a movie called Broadcast News, which was a look at the way the media operates. And Albert Brooks played a news anchor, a news reporter who wanted to be an anchor, but he wasn't pretty enough to be an anchor, so his career was kind of stunted. Great movie. The number 4 pick in the Albert Brooks draft, Broadcast News. And number 5 in the Albert Brooks draft, here it is, the final pick, 5-round draft, Defending Your Life. Defending Your Life. I loved it. Have you guys ever seen Defending Your Life? Defending Your Life is one of those movies I'm going to watch with my son. He's 13 now. I think I got to wait till he's a little bit older. But Defending Your Life is about a guy who dies and then goes to whatever is next. And Albert Brooks plays the guy who dies and he goes to whatever is next. Heaven, whatever you want to call it. And he's put on trial. And it's basically the premise that when you go to heaven, after you die, you go up there. And before you go to heaven or hell, you have to stand trial for how you lived life. And Albert Brooks is a typical 1980s self-centered yuppie, and he's got to go up and he's got to justify the way he lived in defending your life. So there you go. That's the Albert Brooks 5-round draft. Modern Romance with the first pick, Real Life with the second pick, Lost in America with the third pick, Broadcast News with the fourth pick, Defending Your Life with the fifth pick. But you better believe we got some undrafted free agents that are coming to camp. We are bringing in a whole bunch of people to camp because Albert Brooks is nothing if not prolific. We're going to invite Taxi Driver. Albert Brooks was so good in Taxi Driver as Sybil Shepherd's co-worker and secret admirer. We're also going to invite The Scout. I love The Scout. Scout is such an underrated baseball movie. Such a good movie. The Scout. Mother. Albert Brooks movie Mother. His tribute to his mom and the complicated relationship that grown boys and grown men have with their aging mothers. Mother is so good. The Muse, Sharon Stone and Albert Brooks. Sharon Stone plays this mythical woman, sexpot who lives in Hollywood, who has for generations been the muse for all the great creators in Hollywood. The Muse is getting an invite. Finding Nemo. How do you not? He's Marlin. How do you not invite Finding Nemo and Albert Brooks' performance as Marlin to camp? And we'll round it out with, Private Benjamin. I enjoyed Private Benjamin. Goldie Hawn. He played Goldie Hawn's boyfriend in Private Benjamin. There you go. That's your Albert Brooks career draft. Again, Modern Romance with the first pick, Real Life with the second pick, Lost in America with the third pick, Broadcast News with the fourth pick, and Defending Your Life with a number of undrafted free agent camp invites. Also celebrating a birthday today, a guy who lives in this neighborhood, although I haven't been able to determine where exactly in this neighborhood he lives, because Don Henley of the Eagles is very secretive, but he is around here somewhere as we do the show in the Highland Park portion of Dallas-Fort Worth's Metroplex. Born on this day in 1948, S.E. Hinton, American author. S.E. Hinton. S.E. Hinton did... like The Outsiders, right? Do I have this right? Because I'm not looking this up. S.E. Hinton did The Outsiders, Rumblefish, all those movies. Well, they were movies, but they were books. Were they like teen boy books? I don't know. I didn't read them. I saw the movies. Born on this day in 1955, William Dafoe, celebrating birthday. William Dafoe. I love William Dafoe. William Dafoe is so great. James Parker blindsided me the other day. He said, "What is your favorite William Dafoe performance?" And I just sort of by default went with Last Temptation of Christ. I think that might be my number one pick were we to do a William Dafoe draft. I don't know. Happy birthday, William Dafoe, born on this day in 1950. And it's Willem Dafoe, not William, Willem. Born on this day in 1960, John Leguizamo, Colombian-American actor, producer, and screenwriter, comedian. John Leguizamo, he seems so nice in every interview that I've ever seen him in. Every time John Leguizamo is forced to be John Leguizamo, I think, oh my God, does he seem like a nice, well-adjusted, cool, self-aware guy? I like John Leguizamo. And then I don't like anything he does. I don't like him as an actor. I don't particularly like him as a comedian, but I like him as a human. He seems like a really good dude. Born on this day in 1964, another guy I'm conflicted about, David Spade, American actor, producer, screenwriter, comedian. David Spade celebrating a birthday today. I know that David Spade's entire aura, his energy, is that he's sort of a dick, right? That's kind of his, and I think that's what I carry around with me, because David Spade has certainly done a lot of stuff that I've enjoyed. So I don't know. I just don't know. Also celebrating a birthday today, another Denzian here of the North Dallas area, Heisman Trophy winner, Notre Dame standout, Oakland Raider, and Dallas Cowboy. Is he a Dallas? Tim Brown celebrating a birthday today. Was Tim Brown a Cowboy? I mean, I think of him with the Raiders and certainly with Notre Dame, me being a Notre Dame freak and all. Born on this day in 1972, another wide receiver of much renown, Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson was born on this day in 1972. Now, Keyshawn Johnson went from being somebody, his name, Keyshawn, it became, if you were a pro football player and you were acting like an asshole on the team, regardless of how good, Antonio Brown is a good example of this. Irregardless of how talented you might be play in and play out, you are such a distraction and such a douchebag that you cannot be on the team anymore. And so we have to just cut you, even though you're good. That process came to be known as being Keyshawned. If you were Keyshawn, because Keyshawn Johnson was like the first guy that they went, oh, geez, this guy is really good, but what a pain in the ass. Getting Keyshawn. This guy's reputation was completely in the toilet 10 years ago. And now he is one of my favorite national sports radio pundits that's out there. Keyshawn Johnson does a morning radio show, a sports show out of Los Angeles with Jason Williams and Max Kellerman. And it's a good show. Keyshawn, Max, and J Will, I don't even know how they order it, but it's a very good show. And Keyshawn Johnson, I love him. I love him as a sports talk guy. He's honest. He does no bullshit. He's funny. There you go. You get to know people. Also born on this day in 1995, Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas Cowboys star, running back. I like Zeke. Hope Zeke has a nice birthday. And born on this day in 2013, Prince George of Cambridge. Prince George. He's a William and Catherine's kid, right? Prince George. Is Prince George fourth in line for the throne? You got Charles is first in line for the throne. Well, you got the Queen, she's on the throne. And then first in line, you got Prince Charles. And then second in line for the British throne, you got William. And then first, second. And I guess Prince George is third in line for the British throne. Oh, is that kid going to be a pain in the ass when he's like 16, 17? I mean, I suppose no worse than any young man who's being raised to one day be a king and think of themselves as a god among men. But oh my God, imagine being a girl. You don't want to dance with him, or do you? Because he's the future king. I guess you do. I guess the rules are changed. Because I was going to say, like anytime somebody says no to him in his life, he's going to be like, I'm the future king. But maybe they don't say no to him because he's the future king. I know, it's very complicated. All right, let's move into some deaths. We did have some passings on this day in history. On this day in 2008, I just want to say thank you for being a friend, Estelle Getty. Estelle Getty died, born in 1923, died on this day in 2008. Estelle Getty, a long career. She did a lot of stuff, most famous for Golden Girls. And also dead on this day in 2013, born in 1944, Dennis Farina, American policeman and actor. I love me some Dennis Farina. Dennis Farina was a Crime Story. I don't know if you guys ever watched Crime Story on NBC. He was a real cop. Dennis Farina was a real cop, a Chicago cop. And he started doing extra work like in the late 70s and 80s when filming in Chicago. Chicago has for like 40 years been like a hotspot for filming. There's always TV shows, movies, everything being filmed there. But that all started like around the late 70s when Mayor Jane Byrne started a film office, which was, their job was to actually recruit Hollywood films and stuff like that. And so Chicago police officers became involved in filmmaking, whether it was closing off streets and all that kind of stuff. So Dennis Farina went from being a Chicago cop to being an extra to being like a legit like second banana movie star to a lot of guys. I love Dennis Farina. He died on this day in 2013. That's unfortunate. He was young. He was young, 2013, born in 1944. Cop turned actor, good actor. Although he always played the same role. He always played Dennis Farina. He always played like the same guy. All right, let's get into what's trending today. Let's see here. I think the post segment that we do after I run through all the stuff that we've prepared, I think the post segment, we're going to have to really dig deep because, like I said, I just didn't find a whole lot of really. I'll go with the top stories. Monkeypox seems to be like the top story. 95% of monkeypox cases that are being transmitted, they say, are being transmitted via sex. So monkeypox is now being considered in some circles a sexually transmitted disease. Monkeypox, according to a study, 98% of infected people were gay or bisexual men. 41% of people affected with monkeypox are HIV positive. And the median age of people affected by monkeypox is 38. Monkeypox, really? We got to deal with this now. 95% of monkeypox cases have been transmitted through sexual activity. This according to the largest study to date, which also noted new clinical signs such as single genital lesions. All right, see, we're just going to move on from that. All right, monkeypox. It seems like it's going on in the gay community, and 95% of monkeypox cases being transmitted, they say, through sex. Through gay sex, if 98% of cases, right? I mean, that's what they're saying. It's a long way around to say that monkeypox is affecting the gay community. 98% of people afflicted with monkeypox are gay or bisexual. 95% of people with monkeypox contracted it through sex. Lee Zeldin is trending today. Lee Zeldin is a guy, he's a GOP candidate for governor in New York. He's running against Kathy Hochul, who ain't never been elected to nothing. She's Kathy Hochul is the governor of New York, who of course rose to that position after, what was his name? Cuomo? What was his name? I forgot his name. Nipple ring guy. Weird, kinky governor weirdo. Governor weirdo. What was his name? I know it was Cuomo, but it wasn't Chris Cuomo. It was the other guy. Is it Andrew Cuomo? Is that a guy? I don't know. Whatever. So Kathy Hochul is the current governor of New York. She's running for re-election. Lee Zeldin is the GOP candidate. He's running against her. And a 43-year-old Army veteran, David Jakubonis, has been charged with attempted assault for apparently trying to stab U.S. Rep. Lee Zeldin, the GOP candidate for New York governor at an upstate event Thursday evening. So Zeldin, who's running for governor, is up on stage and he's doing his doing whatever it is. I don't even know what his position is. I hardly know who this guy is. I'm Lee Zeldin. I want to be governor. And a dude like jumps up on stage, Dave Chappelle style, and comes at him. And Zeldin sort of tussles with him. And then security gets involved. And then the guy is thrown to the ground. And then he's got a knife. He's got like a blade in his hand. So who knows what that's about. But turns out he's a 43-year-old Army veteran. He doesn't like the Zeldin guy. I don't know. But he's okay. And to Zeldin's credit, after the kerfuffle, if you will, was settled, he resumed his speech. Just like nothing ever happened. Good for him. The Secret Service is trending again. The Secret Service is probably going to trend now for a while because after last night's January 6th hearings, we now understand why there was a desire for the January 6th committee to obtain the text messages that were going around between the Secret Service agents on January 6th for those specific 187 minutes that the president is accused of doing nothing. So here's why. So they unveiled somebody last night on the January 6th hearings who is, for fear of retribution, this person had to do the whole, silhouette where you didn't see them and you just heard their voice, but their voice was all altered so you couldn't really tell. Well, this person was identified as a high-level White House security person. So that's all it said. high-level White House security person. That means Secret Service. That was they couldn't say this is a Secret Service guy, but high-level White House security, that's the Secret Service. So this is a Secret Service agent who in silhouette is talking about what was happening during the 187 minutes. He describes all of the things that we've heard before. Trump throwing a temper tantrum, Trump punching an agent, Trump trying to grab the wheel of the car. And this security agent talked in his deposition. Is it a deposition, I guess? I don't know. In his deposition, while shrouded and while having his voice scrambled, he talked about all of the text messages and the things and the phone calls between him and other agents concerning Trump wanting to go to the Capitol after he made the speech on the ellipse. He made the speech on the ellipse, and then he got in the car and he's like, take me to the Capitol. And the Secret Service was like, no, you're not going to the Capitol because these people are going to. Are you insane? Our job is to protect you. And that's where the argument started. So the Secret Service refused to take him to the Capitol, and the Secret Service were all talking amongst themselves about why they didn't want him to go to the Capitol. Those are the text messages and the correspondence between Secret Service agents that the January 6th committee is looking to acquire. They've got the testimony now from the anonymous White House security guy saying this is what was going on Secret Service channels or White House security channels, which is Secret Service. Just for some reason not saying Secret Service. And he said that they were all talking about it and there was great discussion and everybody was angry and people were threatening to quit. So the January 6th committee said, okay, well, let's get those text messages. And the Secret Service said, no, crazy thing about that, they all seem to be missing. We've got the 188th minute, if you want to hear, and we've got everything up to the 186th minute, if you want to hear, or, we just don't have the actual time frame that you're interested in. I don't know, weird thing. Let's just call it a glitch. So that's the situation that's going on with the Secret Service. They're like, wait a second. What do you mean you don't have it? You can't just say you don't have it. Californian masks are trending because it looks like Southern California is going to go back to requiring everybody to wear masks indoors as a coronavirus spike is now Dallas, right here in Dallas. We're in a hot spot for coronavirus. There's a lot of high profile people here in Dallas that are down and out. Well, by high profile, I mean a couple of radio people that I know here in town. But LA is also having a big issue. And remember, just a couple of days ago, it was mentioned on this here show, we dropped the new variant. That's right, variant Centurion is the new COVID variant. There's not enough study done on it yet to know what's happening. I can't even tell you if this recent new wave, this summer wave of COVID outbreaks is Centurion or just, basic standard coronavirus or maybe one of the fancy Omicrons. I don't know what it is, but LA is taking it serious. Indoor mask rules expected to resume in LA. Hold on. Amid coronavirus wave, Los Angeles County is poised to impose new indoor mask rules next week as data shows the hyper-infectious BA.5 Omicron subvariant is pushing coronavirus case counts higher and sending increasing numbers of people to the hospital. A new mask mandate would mark a significant escalation in the response to the new subvariants, which have fueled a spring and summer surge and can cause people to quickly be reinfected with the virus. LA County would be the first county in Southern California to bring back masks this year, and it remains unclear whether other areas will join. Alameda County in Northern California issued a mask mandate June 3rd and rescinded it 3 weeks later. It's not going away. It's just going to keep it just every couple of weeks. It's going to mask back on. Britney Spears is trending. Britney Spears is trending. So we freed Britney. She got out from under her restrictive and draconian whatever she was under. She wasn't allowed to touch any of her money. Her parents, who she didn't talk to, controlled everything. So she got freed from her conservatorship. And then she immediately married like some fitness trainer dude, that People were like, yeah, it's not going to be good. Younger guy. She's worth like $200 million. And now suddenly some dude who works at the 24-hour fitness down the block is living in Britney's house and spending her money. So people are a little concerned about that. And she's got people concerned now because Britney Spears concerns her fans with 10 nude Instagram posts in a row. Man, this is not good. This is aging hottie. We've got an aging hottie situation here. Britney Spears has posted a string of nude selfies to Instagram, sparking concerns for her well-being from fans. The 40-year-old pop star posted at least 10 new photos to Instagram, and in them, she is mostly topless, wearing just a thong, covering her breasts with her hands. She appears to be in a hotel room, and she captioned one of the posts, "Waking up in London with my Cabo thong." All right. All right, you know what? Why not? We'll show these pictures. This happens a lot with like beautiful women who were maybe sexualized in their prime, where she was very. Look, Britney Spears was sexualized pre-prime. Isn't that the whole deal with her? Remember the "Hit Me Baby One More Time" video where she's like in a high school? And she's like, so whatever. So that has pretty much always been her brand, that Britney was hot, right? Like that, Britney's so hot. But now she's 40 and she's still hot. She's a beautiful woman. Don't get me wrong, but she's not 24-year-old Britney Spears anymore. And she seems to be struggling with that. She seems to still be trying to be the 22-year-old little Pop-Tart. And she shouldn't. Britney Spears should begin to age in a way that is more appropriate for, look, do what you want. I'm just telling you what I'm looking for out of my Britney. I would love to see Britney age in the way that, who's an example of a good sex pot who was like a total sex pot who seems to have aged pretty well? Not Pamela Anderson. I wouldn't say Madonna. I think Madonna is aging terribly. And I don't mean physically. I don't mean like her, I mean the way she's presenting herself. Not being, and you don't even have to be age appropriate, because what is age appropriate? That's kind of subjective. But, I don't want to see Madonna on stage at 65 wearing the Like a Virgin outfit, right? I mean, you can do this differently now. Britney's kind of having that same battle. All right, so I want to pull these up. Let's look at the pictures. Why not? Let's see what Britney's getting into. All right, here we go. These pictures don't look so bad. They're not so terrible. But, it's like, you're a 40-year-old woman, you got kids, what are you doing? Yeah, that's about. Wow, there we go. All right, so there's on her bed. Britney's got kind of this permanent raccoon eyes thing going on. Just there's been a thing with her that I've noticed the last few years. Every time you see her, it looks like she's been crying, and maybe she has. Wouldn't that be a shame? Let's see what else we got. Oh, there's more Britney. All right, there's another. She's laying there like that. She's fantastic. Look, what the hell happened there? All right, I guess that's all the pictures they're going to give us. All right, so that's why. But why would this particular spray of photos concern her fans? She's been posing provocatively on her Instagram now for the better part of a year. James Parker brought it to our attention back in October that Britney seemed to have, recaptured her sexual spirit on Instagram. It was back in like October when we became. I started following her because I want to see how crazy she'd get. So this is no more or less crazy. It's just, I guess she hasn't done it in a while, and there she is now. She's posting more provocative pictures. I'd like to see Brit. Okay, so let's get back to that. So who was like a sex bomb that used to show up everywhere, all sexy and kind of slutty, and is now aged into, who's a good example? Here's a good example. Jennifer Lopez used to be all about the sex. She used to be all about the butt. Remember when she showed up at, I don't know if it was the MTV Awards or whatever, in that gold dress that was just like 2 strings. Remember and now whenever you see Jennifer Lopez out, classy, dignified, still sexy, still gorgeous. Ain't nobody gonna say Jennifer Lopez ain't a beautiful woman, but she looks a little bit more. Jennifer Lopez seems to understand that she can't hang on to 25 forever. And she's now a little bit more dignified, a little bit more sophisticated. I think Britney could go there. Christina Aguilera. Remember the genie in a bottle? Remember that? Oh, can't tell me that she wasn't a sexual icon. Christina Aguilera seems to have morphed into a very classy, sophisticated, elegant, beautiful woman in her 40s. Oh, Britney's still hanging out. Dare I say Paris Hilton? Oh, you didn't say Paris. I'm telling you, have you seen Paris Hilton lately? She's walking around like a real grown-up now. She's walking around like Kim Kardashian, maybe. Although Kim Kardashian still has her moments where it's like, look at my boobs, something like that. She broke the internet, those kind of things. Paris, though, and the best indicator that Paris has changed and sort of morphed and is maybe aging appropriately, the best example that I can offer you to back up my contention is that where's Paris Hilton? She stopped being a moth to the media camera. She's no longer appearing everywhere all the time, doing whatever it takes to get attention, whatever it is. Paris Hilton seems to be settled down. She's a mom. She's married. Whenever she goes out in public, she doesn't wear crotchless skirts anymore. Now she seems to be dressed in, she looks like a studio executive when she walks around now. Britney, come on, baby. You have so much to offer the world. Bears are trending. Not the team of my Ute, not the Chicago Bear. We're talking about actual bears. Bears are trending. Let's see what's happening here with these bears. Why is this not working? This is a rough story, yo. This is not good. All right, so there's this Russian guy. He's kind of famous. He's a biathlete. Apparently, biathletes are famous in Russia. I don't know. Whatever. So he's a helicopter pilot, and he went on an adventure tour. He took his helicopter, and he took a couple of guests with him. I guess one was his girlfriend. His name is Igor Malinovsky. Igor Malinovsky goes out, and he's going to explore the wilds. Well, unfortunately, Igor Malinovsky's helicopter crashed, and it crashed in an area where all the bears got him. So everybody on the helicopter, here's the horrifying part about this story. They do not know. They do not know if they were dead before or after the bears got them. The helicopter crash landed. They said that the damage to the helicopter on the ground was such that it's quite possible that everybody survived, but maybe they had broken legs or whatever. And then the bears came. Folks, I'm telling you, is this the premise for a horror movie? Do you remember the horror movie where the people get thrown overboard in the ocean and they're swimming and the sharks are coming for them and the whole movie is just them swimming? Open Water? Was that called Open? Was that what that was? Tell me this. I would see this movie, bunch of dudes in a helicopter. Let's not keep it Russia. Let's make it American. So they're in Alaska instead of Russia. They're in Alaska and they're looking at bears and wildlife, and the helicopter goes down and they're stranded in the middle of nowhere, and they got broken ankles and they got broken arms and they can't travel. They just have to sit there and wait. And then the bears come. How many bears came, right? So 4 people were on this helicopter. All 4 were dragged away. The bones were found. Well, I'll just give you the story. Do you want the actual details or do you want me? What a horrifying story that would be, just waiting for the bears to come. Following a helicopter crash on a luxury tour in Russia's far northeast, brown bears attacked and devoured 4 passengers aboard a helicopter operated by biathlete Igor Malinovsky. This happened on July the 16th. The following day, three of the people's bones were discovered close to the Semikov Pass, 13 kilometers from the Uzan volcano. I don't know what this means. Their remains looked to have been discovered at the crash scene after a brown bear carried them away and ate them. Brown bear, just one bear? Now, for my movie, this is going to be a herd of bears. This is going to be like according to Channel 5 News in Russia, the crash was reported by the Ministry of Emergency Situations. It happened during a 9-day tour of the area amid bad flying conditions. Good Lord. That is not a way to go. You got yourself unstrapped from your crashed helicopter. You fall like 3 feet from the chassis of the helicopter onto the ground. You probably break your arm now as you fall out of the helicopter, and you're pulling yourself away. You're bleeding. You're broken. Your legs don't work, and then you look up, and here comes a brown bear. Can't run. Can't do anything. Can't fight. What are you going to do? Not a way to go. All right. Folks, would you be surprised to learn that that's it? That's basically all the stories that I found interesting today as I was putting the show together. So now let's jump over. I know, look, I'm not happy about it either, guys. This is not where I wanted to be at 1:00 on a Friday, but we're basically out of stuff. Let's jump into the chat room. Let's see what people are talking about. Open Tundra. That's very good. Ross Rubia. That's the name of our movie. Open Tundra instead of Open Water. Bill Falk says Liam Neeson did that movie, but with wolves. Oh, what movie is that? I don't know what movie that is. I love wolves. I would love to see a movie where Liam Neeson gets eaten by wolves. What's up? About Britney Spears, Ross Rubio also says she had that plastic surgery Joker face thing going on. Yeah, I think, this is another thing that we see real common with women. One of my closest friends is a big time plastic surgeon, so I don't want to, but Britney Spears seems to me to be one of these people of this generation who are getting plastic surgery a little bit early. I'm sorry, Schwartz. Dr. Schwartz, one of my best friends. I'm just saying, I don't know that, a 31-year-old former pop starlet needs to have plastic surgery or a facelift yet. 40, fine. You want to start doing a little maintenance then, that's fine. But yeah, she did. Britney Spears had a weird, and there is that weird Joker face, like when you see, and it's always been the case now, like women in their 70s. Like if I see a bunch of women in their 70s who've had a lot of plastic surgery, they look like plastic surgery cousins, don't they? Like their faces all look like they came from the same genetic pool. Like there is a look. Guys have it too. Jerry Jones has the look where it's kind of like a gerbil, like his face is like pulled up really weird. I don't know. The Gray is apparently the wolf movie with Liam Neeson. I'm not familiar with that. Look at that. Al Gamboa suggests Halle Berry. Halle Berry's another good example of a very, very hot woman when she was 25, who is now like 55 and still a very, very hot woman. Trying to get my son to watch The Program. I've got a list of like football movies that I want my son to watch, and The Program is so good. I want him to watch The Program, and I tried to sell him on The Program by saying, well, yeah, it was Halle Berry's hottest movie. Gosh, she was. Halle Berry was such a dreamboat in The Program. First time I ever saw her, and I was like, whoa, that's a special kind of lady there. Adam Reyna, how about you just shut the fuck up and I should block that. What the fuck is that? Where's that aggression coming from? How about a teaspoon of sugar there, dude? The fuck? Nobody goes harder than Adam Reyna. When Adam Reyna doesn't want to hear what he doesn't want to hear, dude goes hard. How about you just shut the fuck up? Really? How about you just get the fuck out of here? You don't need, this is a choice you're making. Now, I know Adam, so I know that he's not being serious about that. He just goes hard. But seriously, how about you just get the fuck out of here? You don't need to be. Ain't nobody forcing you. Ain't nobody forcing you to hear my nonsense. Ross says Morgan Fairchild. Jennifer Hernandez, thank you. I was thinking Salma Hayek myself. I was going to say Salma Hayek is definitely one of these women who were originally brought to our attention as an absolute sex bomb who has aged so gracefully. Look, we all age. Everybody's going to age. Just be aware. Just be aware of, now, show's over. Show's over, and you can thank Adam Reyna. He's in my head. Now he's in my head, and I cannot continue. All right, folks, thank you. That's going to do it for the show. You can blame Adam Reyna for the short show today and his why don't you just shut the fuck up? I'm kidding. I won't do that. We'll keep going. We're going to keep going in spite of Adam Reyna wanting to shut this whole thing down. All right, let's see what else is going on. I'll jump into Twitter. I'll just do that because that's always the easiest. So let's see what else we have. Yeah, get on him, April. Everybody get on Adam. Force him out of the chat room. You can't talk to me like that. Well, actually, you can. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Adam and I go back far enough. Can you guys see that? I got to move the mic. Look at that. I love that. I love that Jeff Glenn. I love the look at him. I love that Jeff Glenn is like right there over my shoulder. I love that. All right, let's see what's trending here. Bo Jackson is trending. One of my favorite human athletes of all time. Let's see why Bo Jackson is trending. Bo Jackson was one of several donors who paid funeral expenses for victims' families after the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School. Because of course Bo was. Because of course he was. Be more like Bo Jackson and less like, or no, wait, what is the thing that the conservatives always do on Twitter? The world needs more. Okay, so here would be my answer to those ridiculous. Like, for instance, they'll say, the world needs more Kid Rocks and less Beyoncés. Like, that's the world they want to live in. You know, it's sort of a trope now that's going around, I guess. The world needs more Bo Jacksons and less Herschel Walkers. How about that? Bo Jackson is such a good dude. Bo Jackson lives in adjacent to my neighborhood in Chicago, where I live. He runs a sports academy, which is right there in the Lockport, Homer Township area. Bo Jackson's elite sports academy. He's still involved with the White Sox. He's got his big house out there. He trucks around town on his motorcycles. People see him all the time. He doesn't hide. Bo Jackson is friendly. My son and I were at a place called I don't know what it was called. So it's like an arcade. It's kind of like a Dave & Buster's, but not really. We saw Bo Jackson there, just walking around with his kids, playing video games. It was awesome. But above and beyond that, there are no stories. Bo Jackson has lived in that particular area for, I don't know, 30-something years now, when he came back and played for the White Sox for those couple of seasons after his rehab. He stayed with the White Sox organization. He lives on the south side of Chicago. People have been running into him for years, and there is not a person who has a negative Bo Jackson story. Bo Jackson is always Mr. Lovely, Mr. Wonderful. And look at him. So of course, Bo Jackson is trending because he paid for a whole bunch. Dude probably hasn't made a sizable paycheck in 20 years, and he's still sitting on that giant Bo-nosed mountain of cash, and he's putting it to work helping people. Isn't that wonderful? Texas Governor Greg Abbott has announced that an anonymous donor was paying for the funerals of the Uvalde victims. That donor has turned out to be Bo Jackson, who flew to Uvalde with a friend to present officials with a check for $170,000. So what else are they saying about Bo Jackson? Ridiculously talented, worked his ass off, became the greatest athlete of a generation, maybe greatest athlete ever, kick-ass guy. Ladies and gentlemen, get to know Bo Jackson. Yeah. And quiet. Like, those of you who are, over the age of 30 years old, you may remember what an absolute superstar Bo Jackson was. And this was in the era of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was still, Muhammad Ali was still around. And yet Bo Jackson, for a good 2 or 3 years, was like the guy. And then to see the way he walked away from the spotlight, he didn't crave it. Bo didn't turn up on, college football Sunday. He didn't try and get into media. He wasn't doing commercials and he did commercials for everything when he was playing. He didn't, in his post-career, he didn't take all of that. He didn't shove his presence down our throats. He just retired and he lived a quiet life. And now he's a member of a community and he's a good dude. God, I love Bo Jackson. CNN breaking. Former sports star Bo Jackson covered all funeral expenses for the families of victims of the Uvalde school massacre. So they would have one less thing to worry about as they grieved. This comes according to a statement from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. The juxtaposition of Bo Jackson versus Herschel Walker right now. Wow. Yeah, that is true. One seems like a really good person who cares about others, and the other one is basically mentally handicapped. All right, let's see what else is trending. All right, so Bo Jackson. I love Bo Jackson. I hate the Raiders, but it is on my bucket list to at some point acquire a Bo Jackson Raiders jersey, just because I used to have a Bo Jackson White Sox jersey. Let's see here. Vandy, Nico, Manson is trending. Why is Manson trending? Oh, stupid. That's why Manson is trending. Charles Manson is trending because Charles Manson didn't kill anybody either, and yet he's in prison. Trump needs to go to prison. Oh, shut up. Look, for all the things, there may be an argument from some people who could, make me go, okay, that's interesting, that would say that Trump is existentially worse than Charles Manson because of the historical impact that he will have on things moving forward. But just stop it. Charles Manson is a lunatic madman. Come on, stop it. What else is trending? Joey Bada is trending. Brooklyn rapper Joey Bada. I've never even heard of him. I don't know. Maybe he's big, but I don't know. SEC East. Shabbat Shalom. People wish each other a good Jewish Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat. Happy day, my Jewish friends. Happy day. Mary Magdalene is trending. Christians around the world celebrate the feast of Saint Mary Magdalene on this day, July the 22nd. And Scientology is trending. Scientology is trending because a resurfaced Tom Cruise interview from 2005 has some discussing the Church of Scientology. See, this is the problem with getting old. Like, it might be trending and people are like, oh my God, did you see this? But then we click on it and it's just crazy Tom Cruise Scientology video that we oldsters remember from like 15 years ago. A resurfaced Tom Cruise interview from 2005 has some discussing the Church of Scientology. Okay. I'm trying to see, maybe we get is it a different clip? Nah, I've seen this clip before. All right, we don't need to waste our time with it. All right, that'll do it for the in real time Twitter trends. Let's go over to Google. Why not? We got time here. I don't want to end the show, so let's see what's happening on Google. And then, should we try MSN? No, let's do Google first. All right. Hold on, give me a second here. Guys got planned this weekend. You know what we're doing? Me and the boy tonight, we're going to see Nope. What movie are you going to see? Nope. Nope is the new Jordan Peele movie that was released today. UFOs and monsters. It's supposed to be really scary. It's supposed to be really good. So I call over at Ed, who runs Radio Misfits, who's staying in the Ed Silla wing of the One Percenter compound for the next couple of months or so. I call Ed this morning from my guest house location across the property, and I say, look, me and the boy, we're going to go see Nope today after the show this afternoon. Would you like to come and join us? And he was like, nope. Because he heard like one guy. He's like, I can tell you why I don't want to see it, but it might ruin it for you. And I'm like, nah, don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it. All right, Ed. All right, I want you to come. You don't have to come. I mean, me and the boy will go. Me and the boy will have a father-son late Friday afternoon. I want to go at like 4:30. I'm thinking over at the Angelica, like Mockingbird Station. But I don't know. Maybe 7. I don't know. I'm worried about it. I think it's going to be hard to get good tickets. I think it's going to be hard to... as soon as I sign off the show here, I got to buy tickets. I got to go and I got to reserve the good seats. I'm very excited about Nope. Anybody else excited about Nope? April says, I'm obsessed with finding out the identity of the Clark Kent hot guy sitting behind Pottinger last night. Why has it been so difficult to find out? Okay, April. Very interesting, because last night Clark Kent was trending all night, and I didn't get to watch the full January 6th hearings until late last night after the kid went to sleep and we were done with the Pillow Talk show. And I didn't understand why Clark Kent was trending. And then as I'm watching the January 6th hearings, I go, oh, that's why Clark Kent is trending. Behind the Pottinger guy who April mentions, Pottinger was a national security advisor in the White House. He was there in the West Wing during those 187 minutes, and he testified as to what he witnessed and what he saw during those 187 minutes on January 6th. But seated right behind him was a dude who looked just like Clark Kent. Now, people are saying Clark Kent, and I'm a heterosexual man, but let me also tell you, he looked like a male prostitute. He looked like a male model. First of all, an unbelievably handsome guy with, he's wearing the suit and he's got his hair slicked back and then he's wearing the Clark Kent glasses and he's seated right behind the guy that's testifying in front of the January 6th community. And his presence hovering over the shoulder of the guy testifying made Twitter go nuts last night. April, you're not the only one. I don't know who he was, but I was able to pause it and I could read his badge. He was wearing a badge and the badge said witness access. So he must have been, I'm guessing because of where he was seated, he must have been with the Pottinger people. Maybe he's an attorney. I don't know. But all the ladies are crazy. Oh, they went nuts last night about this guy hanging out. Rob says, I knew women would be all over that guy. Yeah, women, me. I'm looking at him going, that's a goddamn handsome man right there. I can't, this is important stuff they're talking about. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to learn something, and I can't because I'm distracted by this beautiful example of man meat sitting right behind, and I'm a heterosexual guy. So how handsome was he? He was that handsome. All right. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got. All right. Jumping on Google now. What, really? You're not going to? All right. These real-time Google search trends that I pull up, they're all over the place. They're nuts. Because it's everything from like the smallest town news to anything else. Stop looking at them. Jeff says, does Nope have one of those M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong endings? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but I love Shyamalama Ding Dong movies, so that'd be fine with me. I'm a big M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong fan. Well, I like aliens. I'm a big alien guy. So this is Jordan Peele, who has made, to my count, 3 incredibly cool movies. This is him spreading his wings into a more Spielbergian kind of area. This is the first time that Jordan Peele is trying to open a big summer movie. His other movies have been critical smashes. The critics love everything that he, whether it was Us or Get Out, they love all of that stuff. But this is the first one where he's been given sort of a big budget and he kind of is like, okay, I'm gonna make a big summer movie. So I'm very excited to see what Jordan Peele, who I have great hopes for as a director, I think, and it's so crazy because I used to love Key and Peele on Comedy Central. I used to watch Key and Peele. I used to love that show. Never in a million years did I think that Jordan Peele, as I was watching him do this comedy stuff, is like the heir apparent to Spielberg or Hitchcock, is more commonly what people say. He's more in the vein of what Alfred Hitchcock was. He is so good. Very excited. So I don't know if we're going to go to 4:30 or 7 o'clock. Hey, have you decided you want to go to 4:30 or 7? All right, kid wants 7. All right, we'll make that work. Fine by me. Let's see what's trending. Pokemon Go is trending. How to fix the Pokemon Go Facebook login error. I don't think anybody here wants to hear about that. I don't care. Cincinnati Bengals are trending. Oh, the Cincinnati Bengals unveiled a new alternate white helmet today. I saw this going around. It looks pretty cool. You can look it up. Just Cincinnati Bengals white helmet. It's just a white helmet with black stripes. It looks good. I like it anytime they mix it up. I love those Bengals helmets. The old Bengals helmets, I really like the old Bengals helmets that had like this lion, tiger, it's a Bengal tiger, had a tiger on the helmet that was kind of pouncing. I always thought that was kind of a cool one, but that didn't last long. And then I think like in the 80s, they went to just like orange helmets. Were they just wearing orange helmets? Maybe it said Bengals on it. I don't know. But the tiger stripes, when they went to the tiger stripes, the orange helmet with the black tiger stripes, I was like, cool. And now they've got a white one. Now they got a white helmet with the black tiger stripes. Detroit Lions are trending. Lions Madden 23 quarterback ratings have been released. I don't care about the Madden ratings. They seem to be just complete bullshit. They seem I've been looking at I guess Madden, the game that the football game Madden, the Madden game releases their ratings on players so that when you play the game, these are the good players. And the ratings are ridiculous. There doesn't seem to be any real criteria on how they come to these numbers, because I've been watching for the past couple of days people making these statistical arguments for dudes that are rated on Madden like 85 versus dudes who are rated like 95. And statistically, the guy that has the 85 last year had a monster season compared to the guy that's got a 95. It's just that the guy that's got a 95 is a name that we know. It seems like the Madden ratings are a lot of bullshit involved in those. But whatever. People are upset. And now the Detroit Lions' turn. Lions Madden 23 quarterbacks ratings released. I'm sure that's not going to go well for old Jared Goff and whoever else is on the Lions quarterback room. Indian national cricket team. Apparently there's a UFC fight. Hockey Canada, resignation. Entire North Carolina Police Department resigns after new town. What is this? When did this happen? All right, it's just posted an hour ago. Why did an entire police force in North Carolina resign? Entire North Carolina Police Department resigns after new town manager is hired. Yeah, we don't really care about that, right? We don't. Fine. So they probably didn't like the guy. Mike Tyson says death is near as he speaks on wife and money. What? What do you mean? You don't mean like your death is near, like you mean you're aging, and as you age, you become more aware of your mortality, right, Mike? That's what you mean? You're not trying to tell us that you've got like some kind of cancer. American boxing legend Mike Tyson has said he perceived death is near for him as he reveals personal issues about his wife and money, despite being a multimillionaire. Speaking on his podcast, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, which I hear is a good podcast, not necessarily because Mike is such a great podcast host, although I hear he is. It's because of the people that Mike Tyson gets on his podcast. Because who's going to turn Mike Tyson down? And I don't mean like, oh, Mike Tyson's going to beat you up. No, I mean, Mike Tyson is such an icon that almost anybody who would be asked to go spend an hour talking to Mike Tyson would go, yeah. I mean, whether it's Leonardo DiCaprio or anybody else. I mean, who would turn down, but wouldn't that be fun? Mike Tyson wants to talk to you. Okay, I'd love to meet Mike Tyson. Hot Boxing. It's supposed to be a pretty good podcast. I've never heard it in its entirety. I've only heard clips, and it seems very good. According to the Daily Mail, Tyson disclosed that money could not really bring security in what it described as a morbid conversation with his therapist, Sean McFarlane. We're all going to die one day, of course, Tyson said. Well, yeah. Then when I look in the mirror, this is Tyson, I see those little spots on my face. I say, wow, that means my expiration date is coming close really soon. Tyson said he often has conversations with his third wife because she believes money will offer her long-term security when he dies. I always tell people they think money's going to make them happy. They've never had money before. When you have a lot of money, you can't expect nobody to love you, he added. Oh, my God. Well, sure you can. They can love you for your money. See, I don't buy that. You're looking for one variant of what love is. Love is not just based on some sort of physical attraction, like I always think about this. It's like you see like a trophy wife with some guy that's got money and he's like, well, she doesn't really love him. I'm like, well, how do you know? Well, maybe she's not physically attracted to him. Okay, maybe he's not her type, but that doesn't mean she can't fall in love with somebody. A rich guy can present her with a lifestyle that you can fall in love with, and you can really appreciate this person who has given you this. Everybody works with what they got. Fat, funny guys get good-looking women all the time because they're working with what they got. They got the funny thing. You don't just have to be, please. And by the way, I disagree with this whole thing. I think that money can actually buy happiness, especially if you're somebody who's never had money before. If you've never had money before, and then all of a sudden you are given $100 million, trust me, your life for at least the next 6 months is gonna be fun. I can't speak to anything past that because water seeks its own level. And once you get accustomed to having all of that money, sure, maybe then it will stop being a thrill. But in the beginning, money does bring you happiness. Maybe not sustained. I don't know. I think I could sustain happiness, though, with $100 million. So if anybody wants to tip $100 million, feel free to drop it into Venmo or the Cash App, and I'll put that theory to a test. It doesn't mean you won't catch a disease if you have money and you're rich. He says, I don't know when you put money in your bank and you get a check every week and you can live for the rest of your life. Is that security? Yeah, Mike, that is security. That is financial security. It doesn't mean you won't catch a disease or get hit by a car. Can money secure you when you jump off a bridge? Mike, you're being disingenuous here with the argument. No, of course it's not. You put people with money who live happy. We're talking all things being equal. Anybody can get hit by a car. Anybody can come down with cancer. That is not something that money plays into. We're talking about all things being equal. You're healthy. Would you rather have $100 million in the bank or would you rather have a negative $100 in your checking account? I mean, come on. One of them's going to make you happy. It doesn't mean you won't catch a disease. Yeah, Mike, come on. Nobody's saying that. Of course it won't. But when you do catch the disease, you can certainly treat yourself in a better manner than somebody who's broke ass and has a disease. What with private rooms and specialists and all that kind of stuff. In his famous career, Tyson has set a sensational professional boxing record of 56-2 with 44 knockouts. He's considered one of the greatest ever in the boxing rings. Tyson made his boxing debut in 1985. He still holds the world record for becoming the youngest world heavyweight champion. All right, so that's why Mike Tyson is Melancholy Mike. We'll call him Melancholy Mike Tyson. High School Musical is trending. I don't know the first thing about High School Musical. Totally missed that. I was too old. Seemed like it was for kids. Nick Cage got a new National Treasure movie, I guess. Okay. I saw the first National Treasure movie. Thought it was good. Are there more? Did they make more? I'm good with one. I get the point. That was fun. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Yeah, Byron. Damn right. The rich get all the best diseases. Walking Dead. Walking Dead is trending. San Diego Comic-Con is trending. They're trending in conjunction with each other. That's it. There's really not. Today is. You know what? Let me. Here's something that I almost never do, but it's good for headlines. So let's take a quick gander. Let's go to an aggregator. Let's see what a news aggregator site is saying. Let's see what's in a good one. Here, I'll just click on Drudge. There you go. All right. Let's see what some of the headlines are. We can sink our teeth into. The Kremlin is set to run out of steam, giving Kyiv chance to strike. This according to UK intelligence. Biden still has the COVID. I don't know what's going on there. Josh Hawley seems to be taking a beating. Josh Hawley, there was some not so flattering video shown last night during the January 6th hearings about how Josh Hawley whoop, 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 whoop. like the famous picture of Josh Hawley is him defiantly walking behind the police lines, completely secured with his fist raised to the crowd. And then there's all this other video that was revealed last night of Josh Hawley being panicked and running. And I don't know, I guess. So, hey, whatever. If you're on the other side of the political aisle, there's an opportunity to make fun of Josh Hawley. If that's what you do. Verizon has dropped OAN. Very good, Horizon. Now let's get involved. Troubles. OAN survival highly in doubt after getting dropped by Verizon. All right, very good. Heat's not trending today. Heat's been trending the last couple of days. What is today? Like beautiful outside? Hold on. Let's play a little heat wave poker. Let me see what we're looking at here. All right, here we go. Trending, or buffering. Heat wave poker. What is it where you are? Tell me the temperature and tell me where you're at. High temperature wins. Okay. All right. We got a solid, there we go. That's the latest. Got a solid 100 degrees right here in beautiful Highland Park, Texas. Can you beat my 100 degrees? All right. April's got 96 in Waco. Still can't be. That's me. I got high score 100 here. Farmers Branch is 100. There you go. We got tie. We got tie between me and Ross Rubio. All right. Should have given you more time. I never consider the delay when I try to play heat wave poker. So never mind. 74. And where are you, Rob? You're in California, right? You're in San Francisco. 84. Jeff's got, look at Jeff. Jeff's got it beautiful. 84 degrees in beautiful Central America, Iowa, farm country, the great Midwest. 100 degrees for Al Gamboa in Fort Worth. It's still early. It's only 1:30, so we'll probably get over 100 degrees, right? What are they saying it's going to be today? Is today going to be another 105 or plus? Ugh. No thanks. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap this show up. There's, what can I tell you? It was a short day. There was just not a lot of people. I think people are just not doing their jobs. Nobody's making news stories. Everybody's out planning for the weekend. It's a big summer weekend here. All right. There we go. You're John Hinckley.
I have got my poetry. I have got my songs.
Do. 90 degrees in Chicago. That's hot. It's hot in Chicago.
I am like the dancing bear,
trained to be the best.
I am on a never-ending quest.
John Hinckley's getting very active on his social media. He's been tweeting a lot. He's been posting a lot. John Hinckley's on the move. Support the show if you can. We'd appreciate that. There you go. Say it at the beginning. Say it at the end. You can do that by hitting up our Venmo or our Cash App. That's it. No more shows. We'll do a show on Monday, high noon. That's the next time you'll hear me. And then we'll do the regular week. Every Monday through Friday, we do this show high noon Central Standard Time. And then we come back at 9 p.m. Central to do what we call Pugs and Parker Proudly Present Pillow Talk. That's Monday through Thursdays. Monday evenings through Thursday evenings at 9 p.m. Pugs and Parker. Monday through Friday at noon, this one. And all of these streams exist for you and because of your generosity. So here's what I'm considering. So we're going to go see Nope tonight. That's what we're going to do. Me and the boy, we're going to go see Nope. So that means we're going to go see a movie and then we're going to have dinner too. So I don't know, should Studio Movie Grill or Alamo Draft House. I don't want to spend $20 on a hamburger when I'm already like a bad hamburger. Do you like those? Do you like the dining experience at movie theaters? It's a new thing, like the studio here in North Texas. We've got the Studio Movie Grills and the Alamo Draft Houses, and I think there's another player in that. But it's one of those deals where you go into a movie theater and you sit down, but you're at a table, or the reclining chair that you have has a table that flops down, and you get a full menu, and you can order entrees and special kinds of popcorn. I mean, it's nice, and it's nice to do maybe once to have that experience. But do you need to spend $15 on some fried pickles that at the end of the day was made at a movie theater concession stand? I don't know. So maybe we'll just go to like a normal theater. Even the normal theaters in this era are nice. The Angelica is really nice. The Angelica is my favorite. I also like the Inwood Theater, but it's so small. I like the Inwood Theater because it's old. I think we're going to go to Angelica. I think we're going to go to the Angelica, and we're probably going to go and have dinner at that grilled cheese restaurant. Do you guys know that grilled cheese restaurant in Mockingbird Station? There's so stupid. It's like, what do you mean? It's a restaurant where they just make grilled cheese? I'm intrigued. So I'm thinking maybe we go to the grilled cheese restaurant and then the Angelica to see Nope. Nope. All right, that's going to do it. I love you guys. We'll see you. Keep it here. Yeah, thanks, Adam. I know. I'm on top of it. Appreciate you looking out. All right, bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Should big news break, subscribe to the channel. If there's some big event that occurs, I'll jump on and do a live stream on that. If I can. The last couple of times I've been indisposed while big breaking news was happening. I need to be more focused on covering of the breaking news. All right, appreciate you. Love you all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye, everybody.